So like a coach and a leader, like I see that, right? And so it started off early, high school, coaching, 17 years old, coaching the varsity team. Then from there, your passion led you into homelessness because you were going for the passion and not actually knowing how to make the money.
I'm glad you said that was actually helpful right there because I've been doing a lot of reframing. Because when I look back, I never saw myself as a leader because I was literally looking to be led. I was just willing to do whatever I had to do. I was just looking for somebody who I felt was worth following.
What's going on, beautiful people, and welcome to the show with your host, Sam Cologne, aka The Messenger. And today we got a special guest for you guys. And I know I normally don't bring guests on. Typically, the person that you guys see when I'm chopping it up with somebody is B, the producer. But I did get some comments of people saying, Sam, I like it when you have a guest on. You should start bringing guests on. And that was last week. And then that was 2 weeks ago. And then last week, I reached out to my boy B. He just happens to pop up on my feed. And I'm like, okay, let me hit him up. He's like, yo, I'm down for this week. So you guys are in for a treat. I don't believe in coincidence. And so just a small introduction to my boy Brandon Oshodin, right? He has a big bio that that I'm not gonna break down right now, but I'm gonna give you guys some pointers. So he's a founder of Live Authentic, which is a supplement company, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember the first product that I saw, him breaking down some really good stuff. Peak performance strategist, leadership, dynamic coach. I don't want to massacre his bio here because I just know on a soul level, like I had a conversation with him that was going to be 30 minutes and it turned out to be like 2 hours and 15 minutes when me and him first connected. And that's the type of people I want to bring to you guys. Like people that I know that on a soul level, they've done some really deep work, right? So without further ado, my boy B, welcome to the show, brother.
Miraculous day, my brother. Thank you for having me.
So B, like before we get started, I know I was making jokes about the intro, but can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Like I told you in the beginning, man, I'm Brandon. There's a lot of ways that I deliver, right? You know what it is that's trying to come through, but really at the end of the day, I help people develop presence of mind under pressure. And
Beautiful.
presence of mind under the pressure of success. So the pressure is not always the pressure of failure because failure typically leads to success. Success typically leads to failure. So really, for me, it's always about developing mastery over the mind so that you can surrender to the spirit so that's able to express itself naturally through the body. So I've done that through strength conditioning for over 20 years. I started off as a strength conditioning coach. When I was in high school, you go to my old high school, I was already the strength conditioning coach of the women's basketball team, the varsity team, as a high school student, still a junior in high school. I graduated for that. I pursued that as a career. I went homeless doing that. Not because I had any type of addictions or anything like that. I was just ambitious. And this is one of the reasons why I teach this presence of mind under pressure because, I had to get to I had to get myself to a place where I was willing to sacrifice to go to the next level, sacrifice comfort and not fall back on all the different people that would support me, but not necessarily understand my vision and my dreams. And we built a very successful coaching business. I started facilitating teachings from Bob Proctor to Fortune 500 companies, being mentored by him, also teaching for him. I moved that into personal development coaching. I built multiple large organizations with other sports performance companies and network marketing industries. That led me to do corporate coaching because I realized once you lead a large amount of people and you understand the leadership dynamics of organizations. So we've worked with companies like Berkeley, Ohio State, and right now we're focused on Live Authentic, which is, like you said, it's a supplement company, but it's a two-part supplement. The actual definition of a supplement is an angle that when added to another angle creates a 180-degree angle. So a complete turn. So our supplement is called Devotion. And Devotion is both the supplement of the mind and supplement of the body. So when you get this supplement, it comes with the Devotion card. This is more important than this. I won't even go into this. But this helps people anchor themselves in their devotion, so it saves them from their distractions. So, there are different ways to do it. Whatever the spirits say move, we make the move. But at the end of the day, it's just about practicing what's happening with us and expressing it to others.
So good, man. So good. I mean, this is why they want to butcher the introduction because it's beautiful when it comes out organically, and it's just like, well, so you said so much there, man. But I just want to cap it up into little pieces. So the first part started off very young into coaching. Like you have this ornate thing where like you were born to be a coach and a leader, obviously, right? And so now you're
A leader.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I wouldn't say it's funny. I wouldn't say leader, but I'll let you go ahead. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say.
You maybe don't see that, but I see that, right? Now, so like a coach and a leader, like I see that, right? And so it started off early, high school, coaching, 17 years old, coaching the varsity team. Then from there, your passion led you into homelessness because you were going for the passion and not actually knowing how to make the money, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
100%.
Okay. So from that part, how did it transition for you? From being in that place, how did it transition to actually, oh, wait a minute, I think I got something here. How I could bring in the income and actually move forward in this entrepreneur journey that you're in?
You know what? I think it was just, honestly, I think about that a lot. I've been thinking about it lately more because when I look back, it's just funny because you just said it. I didn't see it, and I'm glad you said that was actually helpful right there because I've been doing a lot of reframing. Because when I look back, I never saw myself as a leader because I was literally looking to be led. I was just willing to do whatever I had to do. I was just looking for somebody who I felt was worth following. I didn't realize, like you said, yeah, obviously if I'm already coaching the high school team and I look back, oh, actually I was a leader. I didn't see myself as that. But it's the same way. When my whole life I was making money. I've never not made money. I've always done things as a little kid to earn income. So that time, that gap where I was homeless, it was because I stopped doing everything that I could do to make money to pursue this thing. You had to be certified to be a personal trainer at the gym, right? So how it came about was I was training, but I didn't know how to charge. I didn't know the business of it, right? At all. So I was charging $5 a session to train at the park. Yeah, and for an hour train at the park. Oh my gosh! But I loved it because I was doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Before running the gym, I ran the most successful gym in the city. And it was the most successful gym in that whole entire franchise because I just loved it. I wanted them to look. I'm a trainer. Obviously, they don't want to move me out of sales because that don't make sense for them. I didn't understand the business of it. I quit. I'm training at the park for free. It's good, but then winter came. So when winter came, I couldn't train at the park and I couldn't support myself, so I got a job. And honestly, what happened was this song, J. Cole's album came out that first day I went to Best Buy, got it. Spent all my money. I think I spent my gas money to get that album. And the very first song was $1 in a Dream. I never went back to work after. That was my last. I never collected the check from there. I went straight to another gym and I said, I'll train for free. I was training for the opportunity. And I started and that's what I did. I was sleeping under my car got repossessed. I wasn't making any money for months. So it was just going through the process of me, I could have got a job but it would have been taking me away from the passion. I could have told my mom. She was living in Florida at the time. She would have had me in Miami. It would have taken me away from the passion. I could have told my friends. It would have taken me away from the passion. So it wasn't that there's a million things I could have did to make money. There's a million people that would have supported me. I knew that I had to lock in because I had the habit at that time of when it got hard to kind of like ease up on it. And I knew like, no, this is it. I mean, $1 in a Dream really touched me. I'm going all in. But honestly, after the problem was I was going all in, but I didn't understand how the mind worked whatsoever. I knew the body, I didn't understand the mind. So I had a mantra. I would say this all throughout the day. Bad things always happen to me. This stuff. I said, fine, bro.
And you already know, now that you know what you know, you're like, no wonder.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I was humming it. It was like a song in my head. You know what I mean? And I was validated through that. If I told you everything that happened that really led me to the point, like I crashed a U-Haul into a school bus. It was, I mean, I ran through a storage center fence, dragged the fence off the thing. Like I was sleeping under parking garage. I remember it was freezing cold, and I was looking for music on YouTube and just sitting there waiting for the gym to open because I used to, uh, I bounced at a nightclub to make a little money after the gym, and then I would take a shower at the gym at 5 when it opened up, and then I would wait for people to come in and try to get an opportunity to train them. So I'm in the cold until the gym open from 2 to 5, and I'm listening to music and I'm looking for a song, and Earl Nightingale randomly popped up, not randomly,
You already
divinely,
know. There's no such thing as coincidence.
divinely popped up on the YouTube side as a suggested. I'm listening for Waka Flocka Flame by the way. So
Yeah.
this is not in any way the algorithm. It popped up and it said The Stranger Secret. And I pressed it because it made no sense. This black and white photo of a guy with these glasses, like a Poindexter. And
Yeah.
he said, you know the problem with most men. Most men don't think. And that I don't it just to
Hit
the
you right
core,
away. Penetrated you.
you
Yeah.
man it was like me. I'm not and as he said it, I'm like, it's just jaw dropping. Within 2 months, I was a six-figure trainer, training in Miami, training all over. People coming to people coming to Columbus from New York, taking flights. One person walked from the airport to a place that my wife and I got to train with me. Like it all switched, and I met my wife in that time. Me and my wife got married after like 70 days of meeting each other. Like all that kept happening back to back to back after I switched my thoughts. So it was literally like I was a hard worker. I was devoted. All these things were in alignment. It was like this one
That one little
little
piece.
line, bow, opened it
Boom.
up for me.
And
Yep.
that is what when I work with people is what I teach them. I call it the mental arts.
Mhm.
Right? It's like that mental state. You had everything. You had the will. You had the desire. You had the drive. You had even all the components were all around you. They were all
Yep.
there. It's always
Yep.
been there. You just didn't realize it. And then when
Hmm.
Earl, I think I know actually the recording that you're talking about. And on that recording with Earl, I think he talks about the statistics of how many people how many people are actually entrepreneurs, how many people actually make money, how many people are going to be broke.
Yep.
That's the one you're talking about, right? I heard that one
Exactly.
2 years ago, and it's a really good one. And
Yeah.
so, like, for that
Exactly.
to pop up on you, obviously we know that's those divine interventions. You know what I'm saying? That's like,
Oh, great.
like he putting in the work. Let
Hmm.
me give him this grace right now because he's ready. He's ready. He showed me he's ready. He showed me he wants this, and boom, it's there. And then the moment it hit you, it penetrated because you were ready for it. And
You know what?
go ahead.
I think I had to. I think if I hadn't gotten to that low point though, I wouldn't have been ready. I
Nope.
was so. It was like there was no distraction. There was no. It was. You know how cold it is in the winter. You in New Jersey, it's like it's cold, but it's crisp. You
Yep.
know what I mean? It's like everything falls off. Everything is the reality. Like the trees can't hide behind nothing. It's straight
Yep.
branches and roots. I was there, so it was like when I heard it, there was no distraction. There was nothing for it. Was just
So
like
good.
me. It was convicting. It was like. And so I applied it immediately. There was no, oh, this sounds good. Once
Yeah.
there was no distractions. I had nothing. I was at the bottom of the bottom. So it was perfect. It was the perfect.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
the-
But you just got to think about also like when we about to plant the seed and like you till that soil, you get that soil ready. You got to beat
Yeah.
that soil up. You got to put
Yeah.
air in it. Like you got to get it all up. Then finally, now when you drop that seed, boom,
Yep.
it's gonna sprout right away. You're gonna have the good fruits, the good harvest. And so like that,
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like was happening with between you and spirit. There was a little preparation going on, and then
Right.
finally, the soil was ready, and so the seed was dropped, and you ran with it, which is freaking beautiful to hear, man. Because I feel like there's a lot of people, especially like with my background and where I grew up and the people that I grew up with and all that stuff. We get caught up in that victim mentality where we get stuck. And I have the most compassionate heart for people because I know what I went through. I know what I went through growing up. I know all the trials and tribulations that took me to refine me to become the man that I am today. I understand it. But the willingness to keep on. Now you said something before about I call it resilience. You said something about persistence during succeeding. What was that? That piece that you were saying? The model
Mm.
that you have when you're coaching?
Man, I'm not sure.
You were
A
saying?
lot of times I just say
And
what's
it's just channeled through.
kind
So
of get out the way and
yeah,
let it
yeah,
come
yeah, yeah.
out.
I hear you, brother. So you said something about like, teaching people like, I think it was saying like
Presence under pressure.
there you go. Presence under pressure, right?
Presence
Presence
of
under
mind,
pressure. And,
because you need presence under it so that you can surrender it and not judge it. Because if I had to judge my situation, I could have judged my situation. There was times during that when I judged my situation and I wanted to end it because it was embarrassing, and I didn't see a way. I didn't see. I was doing everything I possibly could. I was celibate. Like, I mean, I'm talking about I'm straight up in there. It wasn't like there would be no signs or reasons for me to be punished the way I was punished, and I wasn't being punished. You know what I mean? But you got to be present enough to understand the process, and you got to understand seasons. I didn't know about, when we outside, I understand winter, spring, summer, fall. I can prepare for that. I didn't know the season. Nobody had told me about this inner map that happens when you're developing trust and spirit, that you start to separate the valuable from the valueless. And sometimes when you hold on to the valueless, it's ego death. It feels like things are being taken away when in reality the level of priority is just being recognized. I didn't understand none of that. So, yeah, that's why I say presence of mind under pressure, not that it's going to somehow save you from this pressure. It just rearranges the story of what's actually happening. So you might be able to get excited. Like when you're in the gym and you get under pressure, you get a little excited, like, oh yeah, I'm about to get the major pump because this is
yeah,
crazy, right?
yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
you don't understand it, you're like, oh, I gotta go to the hospital. This is crazy. It's the same thing. But if you don't understand it, the story is gonna make you is gonna put a negative connotation on it.
So you say presence of mind under pressure.
Hmm.
I love that, bro. I love that. I love that. And because I truly believe in like building resilience. I believe
Yeah.
like when we going through all these things, through the things that we go through to get us to the point where we are today, it's a refining, right? And there's this little story that I heard years ago from a pastor, and he was saying that, when the goldsmith gets to refine the gold, they get the gold. In order to get all the impurities out, they crank up the heat. And
Yeah.
when they crank up the heat, the impurities come up, you scoop it out. They crank it up
Hmm.
again. Impurities come up, they scoop it out. They crank it up again. And they keep on cranking it. And the way that they know that the gold is ready is when they look at it and they can see their own reflection.
Right. Okay, so I got this leadership training I do called the diamond cutter. And it's basically the same thing, because a real diamond reflects its own inner light. Like, that thing is coming from the center. And we know diamonds are made under time, heat, cut, and pressure over extended amounts of time, right?
Yes.
Not even like it just went over through this little quick process to shine, like, no, over extended amounts of time, but it's reflecting its own inner light. It was able to hold that. And it's crazy because of the lead and the pencil and a diamond it's like it's the same thing. It's just the atoms or something is arranged a little bit differently. So it's like the thought that it was that the consciousness that it's holding is just like a little bit differently. So it's like we could be doing one of the same, like me. I was doing all the right thing. I had to rearrange my awareness a little bit. That one little, it's not happening to me, it's happening for me, unlocked
That's
everything.
it.
It's that little difference under pressure, and the inner light shines out.
And that probably was that nugget that you were looking for to get led. Because you're doing all the work, you're getting it all done, and then now that piece came in, and that was the little bit that you needed to lead you in that right direction, and boom, and then it all clicked for you, and life changed from that moment on. And that whole diamond thing, I love that, man. I remember years ago I was going through a hard time in life, and I think I might have been in DMV, and I went to go drop off some plates, and I'm walking in, and I'm like feeling low, and somebody walks by me. And you already know these angelic moments, man. Somebody walks by me, and out of nowhere, they're just like, pressure makes diamonds.
Mm.
And I'm like, what? And I swear to you, bro, when I turn around, I ain't see nobody. So I'm like,
Yeah, I
pressure?
believe it.
I'm like, yo, pressure makes diamonds. Like, what? And of course, I go to the car, and I'm like, pressure makes diamonds. And I start to see the breakdown of the fact that pressure makes the diamond. From cold to a diamond. Like, it's like, what the hell is that? And so like you using that analogy with coaching people is beautiful, man. It's a beautiful thing because I think a lot of times we think that we could run from, I'm doing air quotes here, hardships, right? But it's a part of the process. It's just like when you working out, you got to break that muscle down and then let it heal, and then break it down and let it heal. But then when you look in the mirror and you're like, oh snap, like that looks good. But that's because of the time that it took you to go through that refining period. And like the seasons is another thing that we're not taught that I think is huge to understand. It ain't always go time. Everybody thinks it's always go time, like grinding, crushing, and then guess what? That can only last you but for so long. And I feel like entrepreneurs, we have a big threshold of using our will and being able to take a lot because this is our passion, so we can take a lot. But some of us realize too late, and people, there are young men that I know from 35 to 45, heart attacks. Entrepreneurs, heart attack. Like, why are you having a heart attack right now, bro? You only 35 years old. And some of these people, some of the people that I'm talking about don't even have kids. They don't even have kids yet. I'm like, dude, you sprinkle a little kid in there, you hit. You hit, it's over for you. So having that understanding, I think like having an understanding of seasons and knowing like there's times to go, there's times to plan, there's times to, to reap the benefits, and our seasons show us that. We have the winters, we have the springs, we have the summer, and then we have the reaping, the fall. Like we have all the reality shows us this. I truly believe reality is our master teacher. I say everything is my teacher. Like everything is my teacher. I learn from everything, every conversation. I could be looking at a tree and have the most amazing teaching. You know what I'm saying? So I look at everything as my teaching. Yeah, and it's a beautiful way when you have that understanding, and I feel like that only comes from inner standing, right? Like we have understanding. Understanding. When you find inner standing, that's when you can see teachings in everything. You can see the teachings in nature. You can see the teachings in conversation. You can see the teachings in a TV show. Like it's happened to me many times. I'm coming down and I just finished a meditation, coming down, I'm walking to the living room, I'm to the kitchen, kids are watching something, and something to catch my, like, what? I just finished processing that right now, and they're talking about it. Like craziness, but that's when you have those set of lens because you've done the inner work and you have that inner understanding. So that inner standing where now you see the world different. So like, I want to go, I wanted to chop up all the other things, but we will get into the supplements and how you said you broke that up to 180. I really like that. But I think now I mentioned the seasons and I said something about the kids, right? So I know, if you okay with that? Talk about the kids and the fam?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, all right, perfect. All right, so like I know that you have 5 children. I have 6, right? And so I know when it comes to entrepreneurship, there's a lot of people that want to teach people, right? Let me teach. Like they, and I'm not saying that that they're not good. What I'm saying is there's a component that I see a lot of, I'm doing air quotes here for people listening, that are leaders in the space that don't have children. But then you want to go up and say what you should be doing, sacrifice. You don't even have kids. Like, how are you going to come up in here and talk about sacrificing your kid's graduation, sacrificing your kid's soccer game, sacrificing something that has to do with your family? You don't even have children, dude. So, like, I love to, like, have conversations with other entrepreneurs that have children, particularly entrepreneurs that have, five kids, because I have 6. And I know, I think just one kid alone will change the dynamic of how you do business and how you see the world. But as you start stacking kids and you get all those different dimensions and all the different personalities and how they reflect you, like, oh, snap, that was me in that season. That was me in this season. Like, you can see your kids through you. On top of the work that you're doing already, now they're reflecting some remnants of stuff that's still lingering around, which I always find freaking interesting. But let's chop up a little bit on that. Like, how is it being an entrepreneur and being a father of 5?
Bro, this is why I was so quick to say yes and excited to talk to you, because You're right, man. It's difficult to find people who, especially you have more kids than me. There's nobody. I don't know any other person who has more children than me in entrepreneur period. And then also an entrepreneur. So it's just good to be able to hear the perspective and just yeah, talk to somebody of like heart because it is different, man. And that's the one thing I hate is like you can't, especially when I was a young entrepreneur. So, like I said before, you asked me how I became like financially successful. It was just through personal development. It just unlocked it for me. But I didn't have the skill of business still like I still didn't know. It was just easier for me because I was thinking better, but I still didn't understand it. It was unconscious competence in a lot of ways. A lot of what why I was successful is because integrity. People just trusted me. So I've been able to skate on that for a long time, and a lot of my businesses are built through relationships. I never did paid ads or anything like that. So, now that I'm in a space where we're building a company, and I'm having to learn a bigger, like a whole thing where I'm doing from the ground up. My other was coaching is very different than product where I have to do logistics and there's so many different things. I'm sourcing products from different countries and I'm worrying, hey, you got to make sure these cows are really grass fed. Let me do these like it's so many other components. And having the kid part, I just remember being 23. We had our first. My wife was 20 and the mentor that we were not Bob, but the mentor that we had in one of our businesses was like, just sacrifice 6 whole months or a year with the kids. Tell one of your, parents or something like that to keep them, and you just go, 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 and do this. And we were about to do it, and it just didn't seem like that would make sense because I also knew a guy, Armando Cruz, who was successful and he when I first went to his gym in Miami, his kids were there. So I just always like I might be able to do it a different way. And I'm so glad I did because now that I'm on the other side, I see he don't have a good relationship with his kids at all. And I'm like, dang, you know what I mean? It's like the advice that you get could actually cost you everything.
So
It
true.
can cost you everything. So is it, with 5 kids, it's very difficult. We have a 10-year-old who'll be 11 Saturday. We have a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and an 8-month-old, right? So three just back to
Wait,
back in the
wait, run
last
that
three
back
years.
again. Because this is another thing. There are people that I ask, what are your kids' age? They got 2 kids and they don't even know. But
Mhm.
when the people ask me, I know their ages. I know the years. I know everything. So that's being a present father. But run them back again. What are the ages?
11 on Saturday. She's 10 now. 6 years old. I'm sorry, 7 years old, and 3 years old, 1 year old, and 8 months old. The one that really gets me is my 8 months old because it's like, that's like a moving. It's at that age where you celebrating every week. You're like, he made
Yeah,
another.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You just 9 months. So like, yeah, but he's for sure 8 months old, and it's like, well, yeah, we do everything from home. Like we build our businesses. I'm in my shop. We built that was one of the things that made us build our business like this. It was like we were doing corporate consulting, and it's exciting work, man. I'm working at private jet companies that are, I'm working at Berkeley University. This is a prestigious school. It's trips to Boston. There's opportunities to go to Dubai. Like this is incredible. But my kids aren't with us, right? And it wasn't long. It was just a couple of days, but it's like if things I we always look at like what does further success look like, and further success will look like further times apart. And then when I'm here, it's like my kids are right behind the door. I know somebody's at the door because my oldest daughter just likes to listen anytime I talk, and then she brings up little pieces later, so I know somebody's outside the door. But when I'm doing corporate consulting, it's very serious. You know what I mean? It's just got a tone of like don't hit the door, don't to it. Whereas to this is all of our family thing that we literally are collectively working on together from the tasting of the products, et cetera, et cetera. So there's challenges to it. I think that there's more rewards than anything to it. I think if you look at any type of organization. We like I said, we teach leadership dynamics. So you always see that it's slower in the beginning because you have to get people on the same page. But a group of people, a team can win a championship. One person can't win a championship. So a
True.
group of people is always better than one or two. And we have five, you have six. So it's like I we see the long term of like if we have 5 children they get to see the ups and the downs. I mean,
Indeed,
especially like
indeed,
my oldest man, she that's the thing about my wife and I we walk every day and we were just talking about it's like it's so amazing because we never when it comes to business and you take risks. It's a
indeed.
risk
Yep,
every single time. It's always a risk, right? And it's like it's never if we're gonna fail in public or other people think or anything like that. It's always like we got to tell our kids. It's always like our oldest, because our oldest man, she gonna give it to us straight, like yeah, but really you wasn't on point here, 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 and here. Like she knows what we do. She's like I said, she's probably at the door. She pays attention, so she knows, and she's constantly watching and seeing like, are we in alignment? Are we in alignment? She's looking for it. Our second oldest daughter, Mara, she's like the cheerleader, pure, like, no, the next thing's gonna be good. And, all right, let's try another plan. Like she's young, but she's super in tune, especially spiritually. So it's just interesting when we think about our businesses. Like there's been times where it just didn't work out. We did everything we could. We sacrificed the time, everything. Everybody's on the same page. It didn't work out. And the hardest part of it was like, all right, these are the like literally sitting down and showing the computer. These are the numbers. Like this is where we at right now. And it being like, oh, we gotta hear, what I mean? We gotta have that conversation.
yeah, yeah,
Then we
yeah,
get up. But always the best though, when we like, here, this is where we are now. And then
yeah.
we just celebrate together. It's just like, because they get it.
They get it, and
They know
dude,
everything.
like it's so beautiful to hear that, right? Like because a lot of times, especially the way we've been indoctrinated, you don't know what your parents are going through. You just see the results of it. Where
Oh no, they know.
let's say for example, like you'll see the results. Dad's struggling in the business at work or whatever. You don't bring that home, but then again, dad is home with an attitude. Dad is
Yeah.
home short fuse. And now we're human, it's gonna happen. But if you have an open communication with your children, they understand. Because there's times that I'm not always, up in high vibrational, but the kids
Yeah.
understand it and they'll be like, yo, dad, chill. Dad's, having a tough one today. Like, chill out. Like, they'll do it to each other. Because right now my
Mhm.
oldest is 20. And like, very, she's very conscious. Like literally, like I brought her to events and people like, yo, like, she's like a trained therapist, dog. Like very,
That's what's
very
up.
conscious. And they all have their own aspects.
Yep.
But it's because the open communication. We homeschool the kids too. And so like open communication, like we teach them what we think they're gonna need. When it comes to the numbers in business, yes, business is gonna be ups and downs. And at home, we let them know, like, listen, shit's a little tight right now, right? So
Yep.
like
Yep.
if
Yep.
you
Yep.
do need something, make sure that it's something that you need. Right?
Mhm.
But when we got it, it's like we got it. Like, yo, book the hair salons. You need some waxing. Okay, book the waxings. Because my kids are a little older. So my oldest is 20, and then my next, she's gonna be 17. And then my son is 15. Then I got my other daughter, she's 13. Then I got my other son, he's 10, gonna be 11. And then I have my youngest, she's 5. Right? So like, but the older ones, so I got my wife, my 20-year-old and my soon-to-be 17-year-old, they're like, yo, I gotta get my eyes waxed. I need to get my hair cut done and all that stuff. But there comes times where I gotta be like, yo, pump the brakes. Like, listen, until these things don't come together, let's chill out. But they understand. Why? Because it's an open communication. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people are always worried about like, oh, like share vulnerably outside. No, share vulnerably at home.
Yeah, with the people that matter the most.
Yeah, exactly. Share vulnerably at home. Let them know what's going on. If there was this one time I was going through a meditation, and for me sometimes emotions start to come up. And sometimes I process those emotions differently. Sometimes it could be just weeping. Other times like I like this rage, right? And so in this particular instance, it was rage, right? It was rage that was coming up and I wanted to scream. Like what wanted to come up for me was a deep scream, right? And I was struggling because logically I'm in my mind and I'm telling myself like, if I scream the way I want to scream, I'm gonna freak everybody out in the house, right? But then there's that higher self that comes in, it's okay. They need to know that dad is flawed, right?
Yeah.
They need to know that dad goes through his hardships. They need to know that sometimes dad want to yell so loud that he's gonna blow the world up. That's how loud he wants to yell. But this is a teaching moment. Because when you come out this office, they're gonna ask like, yo, they didn't ask me, they just looked at me. Cause they're like, yo, that was serious. When I actually came out, they didn't even ask. They all looked like, yo, the looks at it all like, you okay? And then I'm like, all right, guys, come to the living room. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you guys, yo, what happened? What's going on? I'm like, Dad was meditating. There was some rage that came up, and I was gonna suppress it and hold it and go for a walk and do my thing outside. But something guided me to say, do it. So this way you guys know that it's okay to feel rage. It's okay when you feel frustrated and you feel mad. It's what you do and how you deal with it is what matters. Like, to me, this is how I dealt with it. And now I can come out here and teach you guys instead of me suppressing the rage and then somebody asking me a question and me being short.
Yeah.
Or me ignoring them, like, yo, wait. Like, no. Like, deal with your stuff. And then now you can teach them how it's done. You know?
Yep. I love that, man. That's so good. That's so good. And yeah, we homeschool too. So like, it's, everybody's always around, and like, we love that. And but at the same time, that's why the communication has to be there, because you experience so many emotions throughout the day, and then you get
Yes.
fatigued from coaching and doing business and making decisions, but kids got still a million questions. And so it's like, it has to be that open level of communication, because it's like, hold on, I would call them the miracle moments. I just need a miracle moment. I need a little spiritual shower. Let me like stop the momentum of my thoughts, because I'm not even present. And to be honest, man, you know what's so crazy is it was today, Tuesday. So maybe it was Monday or Sunday. Like, we've been in launch mode for devotion the past 2 weeks, because the website is like 3 months behind. Like, we got the product in August, and we just got our website done last week. So we just been burning through cash, bro. Like, crazy, not able to really keep up with it. We're doing literally hand to hand sales because we haven't been able to get online for these, just business,
Yeah.
mysterious reasons, this and then like, we finally, it's so funny, a guy who I mentored when he was 16, he was getting in trouble in juvie. His mom brought him to me, and we did some work together for a few years, and we lost track since the pandemic. And I don't know, he said his wife just told him, like, hey, check in on us, the Oshodins. And he saw that we had devotion. He saw that we didn't have a website. He created a whole website, everything, top to bottom. And because he knows us, when we talk about, he did it perfectly. And the people that we paid to do our website still haven't got we still haven't gotten it done from them. So it's like, it's so funny how these things come together. But since that's been so heavy on my mind, I wasn't even aware that I wasn't as present with the kids as they need me to be. So my daughter, it's so funny. It's crazy because I kind of caught it, but I didn't catch it enough. Like, she came in and she was like, you want to play Dragon Ball Z the other day? My oldest daughter, she's like, you got to chase her every single time. She liked to be chased, right? Well, my two youngest daughters, they come to me, but she likes for me to come to her. So she came to me, and that should have been my cue, right? And she was like, "You want to play Dragon Ball Z?" And I was like, "Oh, baby, I'm like, the game that we're playing right now in business. We just launched Devotion. I'm thinking we on track with each other. I'm like, this is basically a game, but we started all the way over. This is like Pokemon, and I'm at level Z5, and these are level 100 Pokemon, and then everybody want to fight right now, baby." I'm like, and
Yeah.
and she was like, so I'm like, we at the beginning of the game. She was like, that's the fun part. The end of the game is boring. And I was like, man, that's wise. I was like, but when do you
Wow.
realize the beginning of the game is boring? She was like, at the end of the game. So we
Yeah.
laughed and left. But I did not catch that she had came to me. I didn't catch that, right? So later on, later on, or a couple of days later, it just kind of like blew up. And that's what it was. It was like, it's not enough like connection. And it's so crazy because it's like when I'm locked in, I don't get the subtle, I don't see the like the little subtle things. So it was a good opportunity for me to sit back and be like, all right, I'm meditating, but I must not be getting deep enough to really, I'm still trying to make this happen myself. I'm using a lot of my own willpower versus I'm not really surrendering. I'm not really trusting God, because I'm missing my life in the process of doing this thing. So I'm relying on me to do it. And I can't even make sure I can't do a thing by myself anyway. So let me step back. So I had that conversation with them like, okay, this is where I see that I lost track of alignment, even though that's what I talk about. Like I still lose track of alignment, and you being open up to have that conversation with me helped me get back in alignment. So like, yeah, we having full conversations when I'm wrong, when we right, when they wrong. It's like it's leadership. I treat it just like an organization. I'm not above them. You know what I mean? It's like I'm your leader and I'm leading by example. And a lot of the things you're gonna learn is probably how I did it wrong
Yeah.
and how we can get it right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
That is
yeah, man.
so good, bro. So good. So good. And that only comes from the fact that you're conscious parenting. Like you're actually taking the time to consciously parent. Cause I don't know what's your backstory, but did your parents parent you the way you parent your kids?
I didn't grow up with my father at all. And my mom had to work a lot, so she didn't have the opportunity, and she need no. But you know what I mean? I think everybody do the best that they can, but it just wasn't the
100%.
space for that
100%.
to even
100%.
survive.
100%. I get it. They only did what they were able to do based upon the tools and the skill sets and the knowing that they had. And that helped me a lot to deal with a lot of the healing that when I first started my healing journey, having that realization with the whole thing with my parents. But
Yeah.
what I'm getting at is like you can only parent this way when you yourself become a conscious individual. Like this is not, if not, you'll just repeat the same thing. You'll repeat it, just like your parents repeated the way they were treated and their parents repeated the way they were treated. It comes to the point where now the individual is a conscious individual. And now they're like, no, I'm gonna parent this way, right? And so like you taking the steps of parenting the way you've been parenting, which I commend you, my brother, because it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy dealing with yourself, let alone now parenting a certain way because you know consciously this is the way it needs to be done. And it ain't easy, but the fact that you've been to the point where you have this relationship with your daughter that she can see and call it and come to you and feel comfortable enough to come to you to let you know, yo, pops, like this ain't that, this ain't happening, this ain't this ain't that. I think it's beautiful. Like my kids, they always have the open door. They know they need to talk to me. If I'm in the office, doesn't matter. Just knock, boom, boom. All right, come in. And hey, there's plenty of times like, yo, what's going on? Like you acting like this or you doing like this. And you realize that you were short, especially my oldest daughter. She'll be like, yo, do you realize you was a little short a little bit? I'm like, actually I didn't. Oh my goodness. Like, and then being a conscious individual, also having a realization like, hey, I am meditating. I am having my, what you call them, miraculous moments?
Yeah, miracle moments.
Miracle moments.
Yeah.
So your miracle moments, I call them spiritual microdosing throughout the day.
I like that.
So I'll take like 5 minutes like throughout the day to make sure, boom, let me center, let me get myself right, because I know that it's easy to get sucked into the narratives. It's easy. Like especially when we're on gold mode, it's easy to forget the things that we have learned to create as anchors in our lives to keep us in check. It's easy to let those go when we're go. So those 5 minutes, they go a long way. But at the same time, I've realized for myself that the more evolved that you become and the more that this mind starts to learn, it's almost like we fool ourselves. And we'll go in, we'll do a 5 minute real quick. And then that 5 minute is surface level. It's surface level. Why? Because you've become your brain has adapted and it's become so sharp that it's like clean up. And then like the stuff that's actually like powering the reality you're unaware of because you've become that good through your practice, right? And so like when this reflection comes back to you, this is where I think mastery comes in, right? This is where the mastery comes in because your reality is reflecting it back to you. And if you're unwilling to actually see this, it's because I know this. I've worked with a lot of people, and I've have open conversations. I share openly with everybody, right? And there are people that I realize that they get this holier than thou. They get to that point where their mind It's not dumb. Their mind has developed to this holier than thou, and a kid coming to them to actually say, hey, yo, what's going on, Pops? That's a no-no. Like, no, no. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, they are a reflection of you. Like, these are your teachers. Let them come to you. Let them come to you and freaking point out stuff to you. Actually encourage them to do that. Encourage them to, hey, if Pop's ever out of line, respectfully, I always tell them, respectfully. Because I have my oldest daughter now. She's over here at the studio taking notes. And so, like, but I always say, you can always call me out, but respectfully. Like, don't just like, yo, like, don't do that, because that's not going to go well. But if you come to me respectfully, like, Pops, can I talk to you? Like, absolutely. Let's talk it out. And there are times, even when we're in discussions, if I'm caught up in my stories, like, they've even pointed it out right there on the spot, right? So let's just say, give an example. They brought something to me, and they're telling me something. And I'm like, yeah, but I've even given them the okay to be like, when that yeah, but comes up, call it, Pops, you yeah, button. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just listen to everything first, you know?
You need it. You need it because, like you said, man, the mind can get tricky. You know, that ego, it's a death if you let it go. It's like, it's trying to protect its grasp, its hold on this reality that's created. So it can, like you said, bypass the I call them vital life practices. The vital life practices we set up to bring ourselves back in alignment. And then when somebody calls it out, the ego is the first thing it's trying to protect itself. And it's telling all these different stories. So you literally, that's why it doesn't make sense. Like, if your family can't tell you, who's supposed to tell you? Like,
exactly.
Who's supposed to tell you?
Exactly.
So then you just lost in the sauce forever until you get right. And I know what it's like. Hey, tell me now. But I love what you said. Respectfully, we gotta have respect. I get respect. I have to receive it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. This is so good, man. Like, just this one piece right here, whoever's a parent and is listening to this, is like nuggets upon nuggets upon nuggets, man. So good, bro. Anything else you want to share when it comes to the family dynamic?
Man, I think we can go on and on forever, but you really, really hit it. It's depending on what mind I'm in, I mean, I can be in the ego and be like, oh man, this is I'm doing it for them, and now they feel like I'm taking time away, but it's just the beginning. And even if I say it out loud to myself, even hearing it come out of my mouth, is like, it's just so silly because I'm not doing it for them, I'm doing it with them. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's doing their part in the business, because my oldest daughter, she does a lot of all the kids, we treat it like organization. So you're responsible for this, you're responsible for this, you're responsible for this. Even my youngest son, the 3-year-old, he has responsibilities, and everybody's playing their part, and I'm just playing my part, which happens to be this part. My wife plays this part. So no, I think it really is. I have to, for myself, it's not even like speaking on what another person should do, but for myself, I have to stay in my right mind. Like, I have to stay surrendered in order for things to work out. It's too many things to control to think about business, 5 kids, 5 different personalities, growing at 5 different rates. I mean, from almost 11 down to 8 months old, they all need different things. And then tomorrow things shift. They need this now. This one's now starting to crawl. So this little thing need to be picked off the ground. You know what I mean? It's like, I think I would go crazy trying to keep everything in this place. And so when I can really develop mastery over my thoughts and then surrender that to spirit and allow that to come through, that's the best thing for me anyway. I don't know everybody else's.
That's so good, bro. Like, literally over and over and over. I got chills like over and over throughout this conversation, man, because it's so good. And it's the truth. Like, the surrendering aspect when it comes to your relationship with spirit is so key, because that's another thing that I've realized, at least in my own journey, as you start to develop and you understand reality better and things start to become more simple for you. I don't like saying easy, but more simple. You realize like, hey, I just let this go, put this thought up, boom, boom, do this, put the action behind it, and boom, it happens. Like you start to like the ego starts to step in, and this is where you need to have a healthy relationship with the ego. And so, the ego sometimes will get smart enough to now step in and think like it's you doing it.
Yeah.
Like you're doing it. Like you're doing it. Like, no, bro. Like, don't stay humble. Stay humble. The human Sam, you know? So I have this thing on my, I think on my email. It's called Sam the Man. And, you know, some people might think of it like an ego thing. Like, oh, Sam the Man. I'm like, no. Just letting you know that the emails that are coming through is Sam the Man, the human man, right? And so Sam the human man is flawed. And he understands that he needs to surrender constantly to Sam the higher self to guide Sam the man, right? And it's important because sometimes Sam the man will think Sam's the man. You know what I'm saying? And like, and that's where shit starts. Things get all out of whack. Things start, and then for me, I'm kind of like a knucklehead. It takes a lot for me to like, you know, they're quick learners.
A pain tolerance.
Yeah, exactly. High pain tolerance, 100%. And so like, it's like, what is up there by the time I realize like, dude, did it again.
No, 100%. That's so funny.
Yeah. And so like, but I can say because I do have that big pain tolerance, there's a lot of lessons. There's always so many pearls that I get out of it. Like I can't. There's always the positive side of it, right? But this whole process of surrendering to that higher self is so important, and I think having that as a daily practice, the moment you wake up and having that understanding with self, there's the small self and there's the higher self, and having that understanding, the small self, there's a hierarchy here. Let's surrender to that higher self. And let's have that understanding every day. The higher self is the one giving the guidance. Because there's been so many times that I get guidance, bro, that it's like, how do I even know this? I don't know how I know this, but I know this. And I haven't, you know what I'm saying? But it's because of the surrendering aspect. It's because I have been humbled many times to the point where I know that I can't do it all. Sam, this human man, can't do it all. Managing multiple business, now doing the podcast, having the coaching business, having real estate business, having 6 kids, homeschooling kids, you know, having ambitions, wanting to do things with the family, you know, like doing all these. It's not an easy task. It's not an easy task at all. And so like, I'm happy that you mentioned that surrendering aspect. What does that look like for you on a daily basis?
Man, so walking 8 to 10,000 steps is key for me because you can't do it in the house. Like it's very difficult, even intentionally, to get that many steps in the house. So it forces me, especially in the wintertime, it forces me outside. And in the winter, I never want to go outside because it's so cold. But man, like today, you know, and yesterday, like before I'll go outside, I'm like, man, I'm not trying to do that. It's kind of like a cold plunge.
Yeah.
But like, as you walk, you literally walk into a different state. That's why when you look at so many brilliant thinkers of all time, they all talking about walking. Walking is medicine. Walking is meditation. Walking is everything. So that intentional time to walk and get fresh air and get sunlight and smell the leaves and just put your eyes on green, you know what I mean? Outside of all the electromagnetic frequencies inside my house and all the stagnant air inside the house is key. 3 miracle moments: first thing in the morning, midday, and right before I go to sleep to break up momentum on my thought is crucial. Exercise, minimum 3 days a week. I try, mostly I get 5, but you know, I have a lot of young kids, so I don't know what my day is going to be like, but minimum 3 days a week where I could really reintroduce myself to that. I'll call it the authentic self, to my authentic self, because in a gym, I go to failure and then I go beyond it. And the only thing that's going to allow this to happen is when that other part of myself steps up and shows strength when I know that there's complete weakness with my body. So I'm introduced to it multiple times. And I find that if I don't do that, I'll have to experience it through some type of outer thing. If I do it to myself, it never happens on the outside, right?
So good.
Like it just Heck, it just keeps it. And things might happen outside. Like I remember I opened up a gym in Dayton because I built my business in Columbus. It's like an hour and a half away. So I opened up my gym in Dayton thinking like, oh, all these people are going to come to my gym. It's the only nice gym in the area. Or tornado, the day of the opening, or tornado came. And I swear, this side of
Yo.
the city was on this side of the city. It was crazy. It stopped right at my gym though. It's like
Ah!
it is
Yo,
right
you
there, like
can't make this
literally a
stuff up,
building
bro.
before.
You can't make this stuff up. It's crazy.
It was crazy. So, I end up my grand opening day. I just end up giving out water and letting people from the community come in and plug in their phones, use electric, do whatever they need to do. But nobody ever came from the area. But I never felt it. You know what I mean? Like I never, and that a couple weeks before that, I had an online business that was probably paying me. It was probably 80% of my income shut down just out of
Woo.
nowhere, like that quick. And I never felt it because I was like I seen it, but it never like grabbed my heart. You know what I mean? Like you said, entrepreneurs having a heart attack, 35, 45. It never phased me like that. It was because I was so already locked in with my practices. It was just like, oh, this. I'm curious how this is going to unfold. Where it's been times where I've been outside of my practice, like outside of, I don't want to say my practice because then the practice becomes the thing. I start putting reliance on the practice, but just whatever it takes to stay in alignment, because these things can also shift. But
Indeed.
it's been times where I haven't been in alignment, and I've been in Hawaii, private island, Lanai, stressed out about nothing. Can't even remember what it was about. Like I just remember being so stressed out in Hawaii and just thinking like, yo, I'm in heaven and hell. And then meditating with my wife on the beach and then us having an amazing time and just realizing like truly it's within. Like it's within. Like it does not matter what's going on outside. As long as I'm good inside, it's so it is outside, regardless of the
As
outer
within,
circumstance.
so
So
without.
and
Indeed.
nutrition.
And nutrition.
Nutrition's a lot. Got to keep my gut health on point. Not even for the aesthetic part of it, but the gut is the mind. So like if I eat foods that irritate my gut, I'm just short. You know what I mean? I'm meditating, my stomach's flipping, my kids asking questions or want to do stuff, and it's just like I'm just kind of like shut down. My energy's low. Low energy is a disability. Like it's just no,
Indeed.
you know what I mean? Because it's just too much going on. So I gotta make sure that I'm fueled correctly, hydrated. Those are the key components. For me, I read. I've been studying A Course in Miracles every day for maybe 13 years now.
I
Every
was gonna
single
say a
day.
crazy number. I was gonna say like 10 years, but look, 13 years. Because I remember that was one of the things that when you and I connected that caught my attention. I'm like, he come on here every day and he reads a part of the Course in Miracles. I'm like, that's good stuff. Because first of all, not a lot of people talk about that book enough. Like when you surrender to self and you start reading or listening to that book, oh my gosh,
It-
every freaking sentence is a lesson. Like,
Man,
yeah,
the the be hitting what powerful.
indeed, indeed. So like the fact that you've been disciplined enough to like go in that book for 13 years, that and it shows, bro. It shows. Just like us having this conversation, like I can feel. I'm very like. I don't like using labels. Like I don't really like it. But like when people talk about empath, like feeling people, I don't need to be around them to feel them. I
Yeah,
could just tap in and I feel them. And
yeah,
when I tap in with you, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? And I know that you've done the work. You've done the work and you still doing the work. And you go deep. I could feel that. You know what I'm saying? You've been deep. And so like one thing that I want to transition now to is the nutrition part, right? Because that's where devotion comes in, and that other component, which was that devotional card, right? Which I think sounds like inspired by the Course in Miracles, all right?
So actually, the devotion, you could say that. Yeah, you could. I'll take that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been so much that I haven't even. I've never looked at that. But you're right. It actually is. I didn't look at that because originally when I start working, before I started working with Bob Proctor, I was listening to him on YouTube, and he talked gold card, right? And so I wrote down my gold card and I achieved everything on my gold card. I still have my gold card. It's like I'm scared to touch it though because it might just evaporate. It's like it's so flimsy. I'm trying to like preserve it, but it's just like somebody could blow on it, it's just go. But the gold card was always to achieve something outward. So it was something that I wanted to have. So there was something I needed to do. And my gold card reminded me to do that, do that, do that, do that. And then it shifted. But the devotion card is more not what you want to have, it's who do you want to be. And so when I have people write down their devotion card, it's to stay in alignment with that version of themselves. You know what I mean? If you want to be patient, if you want to stay in alignment, like mine, leave mine is over here under this is mine. I know mine is just to stay, is to stay a host. It's either I'm going to be a hostage to my ego today or I'm going to be a host to God. And I want to be a host.
That is so good.
Two choices. And so it's just to remind myself to be a host, because, you know, throughout the day, it's just so many different things that can make you feel upset or disrespected and things like that. And it's like, this is a good reason to be disrespected. I could be upset if I want to be a hostage to my ego, right? Do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? And I want to be happy. I want to be happy is to be a host of God because through that I can forgive. I can't make myself forgive somebody. I literally can't. I've tried. I'm not that good of a person. Even when you say
You
I'm
like, that ain't
disciplined enough to
me.
read A Course in Miracles, no, I'm not. I need it. I'm not disciplined. I need it, man. Like, well, I found this book. I had my first time having an experience of presence. I didn't know what it was. Obviously it's in the Bible, but I was like strictly Christian, like just the black church version of like what is it? It's just like I think it's called Baptist. It's just like the Holy Spirit speaking in tongues, like
Okay.
that. That's what I was looking for.
Like a
Like when I
Baptist,
was reading,
Pentecostal type.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, not like the cathedral hall type,
Yeah.
just like it got some juice to it. But
Yeah.
that's what I was looking for. That's the experience when I read. Like that was the lens that I was looking for. So one day it was another hard time in my life where I had the opportunity, and this actually did end up changing my life. This woman named Tammy Torres, she was on the Mrs. Officer video, Lil Wayne. She wanted me to be her trainer in Miami, right? So I told my clients, and I wasn't getting paid at this time. I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna go out to Miami, become a trainer. I'm gonna start having like this is working. You know what I mean? I think I'm like success is coming." You're like, "Don't do that. Stay here. It's not going to work." My trainer before you tried to do his own thing. He ended up going bankrupt, and that weighed on me because the person who said it, I knew really cared for me, right? And I didn't understand at that part of my life that people are just trying to protect you, and they don't. Who knows? Nobody can know
Yes.
what you know, right? So I went home and I was carrying that all day, and I got on my knees before bed and I said, "Lord, let your will be done, not mine." And I've said that a million times, but I never meant it. I never like. I was so exhausted that I literally gave up. Like I truly surrendered because you kind of just go through the thing. No, it was
That's the
like
word
take
right
it.
there. Surrender. Yeah.
I was take it. Like it was exhausting just to get the word out. And I woke up right then. It was just like as soon as I said it was like my body was vibrating and it's ineffable, right? So what happened? But you probably can imagine the experience.
Yeah.
That did not fit into this framework of what I had learned, like the version of Christianity that I learned. So I was now starting to have these experiences that now I can see it, you know what I mean? But I didn't know. Nobody could interpret to me and tell me what it was. Everybody would give me their definition of it, but didn't match my experience.
Exactly.
And then one day I'm walking in the Barnes and Noble, there's a book on the ground, and I pick it up. It's got no author on it. It says A Course in Miracles. I open it up. It says nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Like that, I
Boom.
went right back into the experience. Boom, gone. In the middle, in the doorway of not even in Barnes Nobles, in the doorway. I've never stopped reading it since then. So it's not necessarily discipline. It was like it was like something happened, and this was the only thing that matched. The only feeling that matched. It was just like I want to go back. So I'm like just staying close, right? But Yeah, I don't even know where we were going with that, but
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. But it's so good because that sense of surrender is what did it. It's not
yeah,
the book. And I know like right now the book is an anchor for you and it's a good practice to have you reminded because the book reminds you of the feeling, but what it was is the surrender.
exactly.
The surrender. The fact that you would say, oh, I can't, I'm done. Boom. Now I can step in. Now I
Yep.
can work in you and through you.
Exactly. Now it was enough. It finally was enough space for that because in that experience, what I realized was this was always happening. Like this experience is actually happening right now, but I'm not aware of it. Right? It was like a veil lifted. You know what I mean? It was just like it was like, oh, this is the reality of things, right? And you're exactly right. It's not the book. I tell people all the time, the Course in Miracles, it might not be, you might not get anything from it. It might not make any sense to you. Because I've traveled the world and I've met people who've never read the Bible, never read a course, their experience. When we were talking earlier, it's people that just observe nature and you get it. Like it's really just about creating that space, you know what I mean, either through a practice, either through your lifestyle, or unfortunately, I had them hard lessons of rock bottom.
I get
That
it.
might be
I get it, bro. The first time I had that experience was after my mother died. So my mother was shot, and then I went through like a 3-year like depression, and it wasn't up to 3 years. This is what I'm talking about, high threshold pain. 3 years dealing with it, and like I gained 100 pounds. It was like not a good time, but it got to the point where now I'm arguing with God, like straight arguing, like this is bullshit, blah 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 blah. And then God came in and started dropping little nuggets, and through my aunt was like, hey, I think you should go to church. I know I invited you 1,000 times before, but for some reason I feel like you should go to church. And I'm like, you know what? I think you're right. And so before I went that day, I did a prayer and I asked for an answer. And when I went, I got the answer. And I didn't believe it. Like, I'm like, nah, this is bullshit. They know my aunt. The pastor knows my aunt. They told her I was coming. I made it about me. They told him that I was coming. So he,
the whole sermon about you.
yeah, exactly. This is a story I was telling myself. But then I went the following week, same thing. Prayer, I asked a question, got the answer. And then the third time, that's when I was like, all right, last time, answer this question, and I know that you're hearing me. Sure enough, boom, 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 answered the question, and that moment I surrendered. At that moment, because I felt safe, like that sense of safety, like I could surrender, like I'm done holding this. And like the feeling that you get is unexplainable. Like it's just all the weight is gone. You feel this sense of energy just surging, like wake up every cell of your being, bro. And like I felt so good that I could not stop crying. That's how good I felt. It's like, I'm like, what is this? What is it feeling, right? And that's like the first time that I actually felt like God's presence. Like, and it was because I went through so much that I couldn't take it no more and I just surrendered. Now, there are a ton of practices out there that teach surrender, right? Especially in like the Eastern world, not really here. So you could do it the hard way. Like, it seems like we both learned the hard way. Or you could do it the easy way, which is like learn the practice of surrendering. Have a practice, and for some people it's little bits and pieces, like little bits. Surrender it, having an understanding. This is why I think like this. Is why I behave like this. This is why. Okay, surrender that and surrender that, and then you have the practice. And like you said, some people learn it through nature. Other people just meditate, and automatically they just start getting this guidance. So for me, that was the first wave. And then I went to church route, and then through church, I had a different set of spiritual lens, and I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like the practices. I don't like these beliefs that they're teaching. This doesn't align with what I'm feeling in my heart. So then I went on my own path, and I started to go really deep into meditation, right? So I was already praying and meditating, but through meditation, ooh, and it was again a practice of surrender. I started off with
Yeah.
like just 15-minute meditations, and then 30 minutes meditation. They got to a point I went a year and a half meditating anywhere. The shortest amount of time was 4 hours. So from 4 to 10 hours, bro. And the first time this happened to me, it was like 8 hour span. My wife came in the meditation room because when we got the new house, I made a meditation room. She came in and she's like, "You good?" I'm like, I'm great. I'm great. Why are you asking, am I good? She's like, "You've been in here almost 8 hours." I'm like, "Nah." And I had blackout curtains in there. So I open up and
Yeah.
it's dark outside. I'm like, "What?" Like it felt like it was 15 minutes for me. But that's because of the practice of meditating and surrendering and surrendering and surrendering. And when you learn how to get into that practice of surrender, the wisdom and the guidance that starts to
Oh
come
man.
through you is like, it's unbelievable. But
Yeah.
then, like I was saying before, the ego starts to learn and adapt, and people
Yeah.
think that, oh, because I've reached this point, I've reached the pinnacle, I'm good. You're not good. As long as you
No.
here, here in this realm, you need to have that practice of surrendering
Yeah.
constantly, moment by moment, moment by moment. And it's like I know that we all, especially entrepreneurs, we run a busy life. Especially have a family, you run a busy life, and so like the thought of surrendering moment by moment, it's like, how is that even possible? Practice, just like everything else, moment by
Yeah.
moment, surrender, moment by moment. So good.
Oh man. 100, bro. Like that's what when you asked about devotion, that's what we need. You know what I mean? Like that's what we're actually talking about. That's why the product is called that. It's a devotion. Like that is the devotion. Matter of fact, right now we're giving away devotion. I think as long as we can, we're going to do it to people who go through what we call the devotion experience because what you just articulated so well, like we just had a whole conversation for I mean, I don't even know how long. And we both had the experience. So like because we both had the experience, even if you never said it, I can feel it. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like you just know, you know what I mean? And a lot of people have had the experience, so it's like it's just sad to me because it's like, man, they don't know that there's like a North Star. Like they don't know like this is not all that it is. Like we use our five senses, but your five senses can be extended. You know what I mean? You can sense way more than that. You don't even know
Woo.
about the inner faculties. And so
Indeed.
what we're with devotion, we created a devotion experience, and it's just what you said. Like our goal is to serve the people who serve people, right? The people who serve lead
So
large
good.
organizations, because you can easily burn out pouring into other people, the people who serve, families. And so we created those vital life practices I talked about. Like I have a audio that I created for every single day. Starting with, we talked about this. People don't know the seasons. They know the seasons outside, but they don't know the inner seasons that you go through. When you're developing trust, go through that season of like, man, I feel like I'm losing things. This the sorting out process. You start to learn what's valuable and what's valuable. Then you get to the point where you actually have to start to surrender things. And that's the hardest part because you don't even know who you are without these things, or it doesn't even have to be a thing without these beliefs, without these ideas. Or that you feel like you're going to give up. You feel like you're being called on to sacrifice something for truth or something for God, like God's making me give up this thing. But really, it's like, no, you give it up and you're not without anything. You're full. Like you said, you give it up and you gain. Like that was, we both had the same experience. You gave up and you were overjoyed. I gave up, same thing, tears of gratitude. I didn't know what to call it because it was like my body felt like a cell phone vibrating.
Yes.
Every single cell was dancing, and I'm just like bawling, not like, but
Yeah.
just like it's just I'm like so full of gratitude. It's like just running out of me. It's like everything is just like the best you could possibly feel. There's
Yes.
nothing but every single thought had the answer right on the other side of it. It was like thought, answer, thought, answer, thought, answer, right? They don't even know that's available, but that's what we've created is like understanding the process you go through and then aligning the thoughts. And every single day, it's just like a little 5 minute audio that I have people listen to. And then they take these miracle moments throughout the day because we know that busy people, it feels like if you stop, the business is going to fall. If you take 5 minutes for yourself, then the family's going to fall apart.
Yes.
And that is a sure sign that you are out of your mind. You're out of your
100%.
mind. Like it's all fell apart because you've already fall apart because you think you can do this, and there's no way. Like you
Yeah.
didn't even bring the sun up to at the right time today. You didn't make sure the moon was spinning at the right angle so that this thing didn't cave in. It's like it don't work like that. So over a span of a few weeks, we fully plan for people to have maybe not the degree of experience that we had, but the subtle knowingness, the subtle just like I don't react to things as much, you know what I mean,
Mm,
respond. And if everybody goes through that process, we send them a bag of devotion for free because that is devotion. Aligning your spirit, your mind with your spirit so that the spirit can express itself naturally through the body. And the physical product devotion is to nourish the body at
love it.
multiple levels. It's
Love
six
it.
products, and we want to make sure that you got the base level of nutrition when it comes to your gut health, your protein, your hydration, your trace minerals, your digestive enzymes, your antioxidants. We put ceremonial grade cacao in there so that mental, spiritual connection, that vitality that we're talking about, all in one product so that you actually had the gut health and the physical strength to now that you have the guidance, right? And now that the body is it's working through you and you're in your second place, you're the host, not the hostage. Your body is actually healthy to do the thing that it's called upon to do.
Oh my gosh, so good, dude, so good. And we're gonna go more into details on the product. But before we do, I just want to drop a little nugget in there. The process of, as you're saying it, what came up for me, the process of sorting out, becoming aware, and then the
Mhm.
process of letting go. There's a piece in between that I realized for myself that helped me when I had the realization, oh snap, this is what's going on. Grieving,
Yeah.
the
Mm.
grieving part, right? And so,
Mhm.
like, I had the realization, okay, this is my sorting out. Like, oh snap, I got to deal with all this stuff. Okay, I got to let all this go. And in the beginning, like that part of letting go was taking longer for me. And I'm like, why is this? Why is this? And what I realized was I was not grieving that part of me
Mm.
that I was letting go. I wasn't giving that part of me the honor that it like that it needed, like the being heard. And
Mm.
so I could give an example of like, you realize like, you're always speaking, trying to get your point across, right? You're
Mhm.
trying to get your point across. The other side of that is surrendering and letting that go. But then as you're
Mhm.
letting it go, you're having that realization. But why do you trying to speak and try to get your point across? Why is that? Bro, because nobody heard you when you were a kid. Nobody paid
Mhm.
attention to you. Nobody, you didn't have the people to speak to when you wanted to share the peace of mind. So now as an adult, you want to do it all the time, right? So having that realization and allowing that part of me to like, yo, you want to cry, cry. Whatever it is that come up for you when you tap into that part of you that wasn't heard, that you felt wasn't listened to, that you felt was not, that you weren't attentive, nobody listened to you, nobody cared what you had to say. Let yourself feel that. And then for me, the letting go part happened automatically. Like I didn't have to
Mhm.
try to let it go because I listened to that part of me and I felt that part of me like, damn, like that little boy in me like, damn, nobody, feel that, let that go. And then the surrendering part, boom, automatic. And I just like elated after every little thing that I went through the grieving process. But after that, I felt great. I felt amazing. I
Yeah.
felt light. Like, oh my gosh, this feels great. But it's because I allowed myself. I recognize you're not allowing yourself to grieve these little parts of you, these little programs, and you are holding on to them because you're not realizing why you have them. And so now you're
Yeah.
forcing a surrender, but it's because you haven't allowed yourself to see why it is that you have this thing that you're doing. And so like I just want to throw that in there. I felt, you good?
I don't know if this is yeah, I don't think this is even on, so let me unplug this, but I'm good.
Okay. All right,
You should
cool.
still can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Yep. And so like I wanted to throw that piece in there because I feel like it was a really important piece for me that I feel like it could bring some value, especially for the process that you got put together for people.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And you know, it reminded me of a time, I think it was 2019, I was dealing with something, man. I was like, it's one of those things, like you said, the mind is tricky. Like I was doing my stuff, I was doing my vital life practices, and I'm teaching this stuff and we're having success, but I'm not feeling right, man. It was wintertime, so I thought, for a long time I dealt with seasonal depression. I'm like, man, maybe I'm just not getting enough sunlight, or maybe like that. But there was really nothing I could do. And I've never cried. I never cry. And one day I was at my gym by myself, and I just and it came up, and I just allowed myself to cry. And I was like, I mean, I'm coming from this, like, men don't cry, right? So like
Mm.
I allowed myself as it come up, like I didn't fight or like try to work out or do anything. And man, I felt so good after that.
Yeah.
Like it was like, yo, that's all. Like
Yeah, that's all I had to do this whole time. Just grieve for this little moment.
when you said that, it literally reminded me like that, man. I'll never forget how long. I mean, I was dealing with that for a couple of months, man. It was like, and then it was just like, oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because yo, it's so good to you said that, because it's the suppression, and like
Yeah.
because we have the high paying tolerance, because we have the tools, right? Let's work out. I'm feeling some type of way. Let's go work out. Let's meditate. Let's do this. That little part of just like allowing yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. If you gotta cry, cry. You feel amazing.
It is it's scary though because it requires it's another surrender
Yes.
because you don't really know because I didn't really know what's going to happen. Like I might fall, I'm gonna fall apart. Will I be able to pull myself? You don't know.
It's
So it's just like
hand in hand.
and the high tolerance part. I just get to the part where it's like, well, I'm miserable. So whatever it is, like, and then it just start happening, and then it was just like. Man, I feel good. It's
Yes.
like I can't believe I've been holding this back. It's not so bad. I mean, it's not like this is the end, but it was the end though. It was the end of not allowing myself to feel certain things. It was the end of that version of myself. Because now if I feel like that, like I know what it is. Like, oh shoot, I'm excited because I'm like, oh yeah, let me get this out the way. Like, let me deal with it now because I'll be free. I'm not even gonna let myself be backed up for months and go through all these things and try to figure out what's going on. I can deal with it head on. But before that, that version of myself that passed, it was burying it, put in the graveyard with the rest of the emotion.
Yeah. Ain't nobody saw that. Let's put that over there. Now it's like you want to show everything, like everything. Like I don't care. I want to share everything. I know the more I share, the more open I am, the freer I feel, bro. And like I could be anywhere. I'll be balling with you. We'll be balling. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like I know when things come up, they coming up for a reason. And we're gonna surrender to this process. And to me, like that point of grieving and that sense of surrender is like a hand in hand. Like once you go through that part of like letting go of that old version of you, there's some grief in there. There's gonna be some grief. It's like let it out. Whatever it is, the way you deal with it. Typically for me, a little weeping does it for me. Like just allow myself drop into my heart and let whatever emotions gotta come up. And when I do, like you said, you feel amazing. You feel great. You feel you're like, what was I crying about anyway? Like you just
I don't remember.
Yeah, you're a totally new person. Like literally, like whatever that feeling was is no longer there, and you don't even have to go back. Like I remember about. No, you feel amazing, and that's what counts. Let's move forward. You know.
Yep.
Now I want to go back into the supplement devotion before we wrap it up, and that supplement when you started saying what's in it. I know because I went through a period of time, bro, where I was creating my own supplements, like literally buying roots. I had all the kids in the house grinding it up for me in the machine. I made these capsules, and like I'm giving capsules away. Like, what you feeling? You feeling this? I got you. I'm like, this has this root, that root, this there, blah blah. And I would give it to people like, yo, I feel amazing. Like, what you put in there? So when you started saying certain things, I know. I'm like, that's great. That's great. That's great. I'm sold. So like, let's talk a little bit about those products, about the healthy gut and what they do. And maybe we could put a link to that and maybe the viewers can go through that process and that you're offering for that bag, you know?
Yeah, so for us, we've always partnered with different supplement companies as a part of our coaching because, we in the beginning we were training a lot of professional athletes. We were in Columbus, we were training Ohio State athletes, NFL players, basketball players, track athletes, Olympic, like it was like a lot of athletes. So we needed a sports performance product to support them, creatine, protein, things for hydration, recovery, stuff like that. Past 4 years, we had partnered with Organic Super Farm. Some of the people who lobbied for, there even to be that USDA organic stamp to kind of signify and create separation between chemically laced foods. That was a good education for us about herbicides, pesticides, Monsanto, just the essence, just the consciousness that low quality animals have and how that transfers over to the food
Oh,
and it stores itself in our body. And so a lot of times where we are, I don't know why I'm so sad. It's not even anything about you. It's what you ate. The animal was sad. It's
exactly.
spiritually, nothing dies. You know what I mean? It's just transferred and it's transferred into you. So, it's been a huge education on quality and sourcing and things like that. But for us, what we found is, and you can probably understand this is you're a family of six, or you have six children, so family of eight. So we have five children. Three of them take supplements, right? Our youngest daughter, the 1 year old, she's starting to take the devotion at least. And so it was messy. It was so many. We got this for protein, this for digestive enzymes, like all these different things. It was messy because the kids are getting into it or something's getting lost. It took a lot of time for traveling. Certain things are making it through. It was costly, and it wasn't so much about the cost for us, but the cost of like kids have using it and stuff like that. And we were using different companies to find different things, right? And then always wondering like, is this company still owned by this, or have they now sold to Pepsi, like the sourcing? And so for us, what we want to do was we had always been successful in the coaching and always been successful in like I think we had built a community of over 10,000 people who are using supplements from us from a company that we recommended, and then we're on the board of a supplement company. We wanted to build something that was comprehensive, integrated, just how our life is. We homeschool, we're entrepreneurs in multiple, companies, but everything's integrated. Like our whole life it's not like this time's for this time's for this. You know what I mean? It's like everything is just one thing. And we knew we could do it. It just cost money. So when we wanted to keep it that way, so we self-funded and we created Devotion. And instead of, like I said, doing something for helping people with their wellness or doing something to help people with their sports performance, we decided our target audience to be the devoted people in leadership positions because this is what we needed. This is why we took so many supplements to blend up. So it's whey protein isolate, it's grass fed. We sourced this from Ireland. Same place you get Kerrygold butter. We isolated first use concentrate because we wanted it to be, a lot of people have some type of dairy issue, especially now, or just digestive issue in general. And I always found that always bloated me and bloated a lot of clients that we work with. Like I said, we've had a large sample size of people to coach over 12 years to see what works, what doesn't work, and more importantly, what will people stay consistent with?
Indeed.
Because we've always been health conscious, we'll take something if it doesn't taste good, if we know that it's healthy. We'll take a bunch of supplements just because it's already habit. The vast majority of people don't have the habit
Yep.
yet. And so they only when they hit rock bottom will they take this, and this.
Yep.
Then they feel a little bit better, and then they'll stop until they hit rock bottom. So it's this constant on and off. So we wanted to make something that was comprehensive and tasted amazing to develop consistency to get those long-term results. Then we used grass-fed colostrum, again, sourced from Ireland,
Good
because
stuff.
the colostrum it's everything, man.
That's
It's your
next
immune
level right
system.
there.
Huh?
That colostrum's next level.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
and the quality that we sourced it with, it was very difficult. You know what I mean? And very costly. We sacrificed our own margins to make the best that we would give our children because we know that your children are going to use it also. It's like this is what our family is actually ingesting. But man, think about the immune system, hair, skin, and nails, muscle growth. Like you really can go on. It's everything. You know what I mean? There's nothing that it doesn't support. Not even just your the gut health as far as feeling vital. Of course, you're going to actually feel good. Your energy is going to be through the roof. But literally rebuilds the gut lining because my wife just had our fifth baby. She posted her before and after photos. Like she was doing good with her arms and stuff. Like everything was losing. But I mean, she had three babies back to back to back. She's been pregnant the last 3 years straight through. And so I thought, hey, hey, it's been 3 years. It might give it 2 years.
Yeah.
It was 2, 3 weeks and of using devotion, and her gut lining is literally back. Like it just started to go back, and now she has like that abdominal wall again to hold the organs in place. And so it's just amazing what whole foods that your body can easily digest,
Digest.
assimilate, and eliminate will do.
The
So we use that.
bioavailability of the colostrum is like next level. Like the body
Yeah.
is gonna take it right in. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead,
Yeah.
brother. Yeah.
No, it's good, man. I've been having to keep my nail clipper in the office because like my nails keep growing so fast. I love it for my beard, but man, I'm clipping my
Your
nails all the
beard is looking
time.
immaculate, by the way. That thing's glistening. I wanted to say it like 10 times, bro. I'm like, that beard looking sharp. Like, but go ahead. Now I know why.
Appreciate you. And then when you use, like I said, organic cacao, ceremonial grade, that was very, very, we use the fair trade system. We want to make sure that, everything is fair energetically. That's important for us.
Huge.
The sourcing, not just the quality, but the financial benefit of the people that are doing this work is important because
Yes.
it's all energy. It's a relationship. Even if we never meet these people, it's all a relationship that we do good business with each other all across the world, from Ireland to Peru to Norway, where we source the vanillin from spruce trees in Norway. It's all in the product. You know what I mean? The experience and the work that
So
people are
good.
doing is at a energetic level. You know what I
Yes,
mean? The
indeed,
intention level.
indeed. And that's energetics on a transactional level. But now let's go further deeper on the actual land, right? So like
Yeah.
if you got like the cacao from Peru, that's where you're getting it? Like
Yep.
the cacao in Peru, the ceremonial cacao, like they go through the process of that. Like, and they understand what it's being used for. Not only do they just do they actually do the harvest that way, but they grow it that way too. And they
Yeah.
also have a reverence towards the land, which is where
That
the product is coming from, right? And so like if you have reverence for the land, and then you have reverence for the crop, and then you have reverence for the process, the energy of that cacao is going to be through the roof. And like
that's
that,
understand.
yeah, they don't. Yeah.
They don't understand. That's why I want people. That's why I'm like, I would rather give it to you if you go through experience, because like I want you to understand, like, this is not a protein shake. Like we like it's the energy of everyone who touched this and was a part of the process, and how the trees are growing. It's like you're literally putting that in your body at a cellular level.
Yes.
Your cells are going to sing, and they do. They
Yes.
really do. Like I can't even say the testimonies I've been getting because it wouldn't be FDA compliant. It sounds like medical claims, but people are feeling good. Things are happening. And I know it's like, yes, it's the actual ingredients, but it's the process that the people who source these things go through, and the
Exactly.
care, and what it actually means to them. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly.
And that's why we want to make sure that they're financially rewarded, and that it's always mutually beneficial.
That
That it isn't like
reciprocity
we're
is there.
taking away.
Yes,
Mhm.
that reciprocity is very important. Not let's say energetically, them doing what they're doing, automatically the people are going to get the benefits. But now we're talking about entrepreneurially, financially, reciprocity is important because what you
Yeah,
do to others, you do to yourself. So the fact that
gotcha.
just consciously you're like, I want to make sure that they are rewarded for the work that they
Mhm.
have done, that automatically comes to you. It's not something that you expect, but it automatically. That's just the laws of reality.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We used a P3 hydrolyzer, digestive enzyme, so people could actually absorb, assimilate, and eliminate. Because I know a lot of people have digestive issues. We actually sourced the ancient sea salt from the salt mounds in Utah, the Redmond
Nice.
Mount. Yeah, so we also had 62 trace minerals in there for hydration, and just especially in America, people are mineral deficient,
Yes.
and there is less than 1 gram of sugar in here, and it is from red M 95%, which is fermented sugar cane. 90 calories, 20 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs. It's not I tell people it's not protein, it's everything, man. We
Yeah.
really like it's so many different products. We went to the store yesterday, and if you were to buy all these different products separately, it would be at least $193. We
Absolutely.
put it all
Absolutely. And that's if you're, and honestly, probably more if you're getting the top of the line stuff.
The top of the line is more.
It's more. It's absolutely, it's more. You know, like if you get like, you know, stuff like medium grade, yeah, we're talking probably that. But top of the line, because I'm very conscious when it comes to all this stuff, and I tried all different types of supplement. I started off doing herbs, and then okay, let me try this supplement now, because this supplement actually does what this herb does. So let me try this, so let me try that. And when it comes down to it, it is expensive. It becomes expensive to like want to live a conscious, healthy, conscious life. But when you have people like yourself that's actually doing the work, doing the research, coming together, actually you are your self-tests, right? You and your family are the ones actually, we take this stuff. So obviously, you know, I want to make sure it's good. And so like now that I put this together and I know this is what we do to feel good, now we want to share this with everybody else. And to me, those are like the best way for us to share something new with the world, right? Because there are a lot of people, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, and you know, I know a lot of people that, you know, they do their supplements and they run these, you know, these drop shippings and stuff like that. They don't, it's not conscious. It's not a conscious thing. It's like, oh, this is the new hot product. All right, let's get this product and let's slap this label on here and let's get it out to everybody. It's not the conscious process of like, okay, I know this is where this is coming from, that's coming from. I know this is what this does for me, this does this. Okay, now let's put this together and let's offer it to the world, which is a beautiful thing. And I know that you guys are in the beginning of the game, like your daughter was saying, the beginning of the video game, but I truly feel, I could feel that this is going to be something great for you, for your family, and for everybody you touch through this product. Yeah.
I touch and agree. Appreciate it. I received that. Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. It is done. It is done. I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited. So you got to share a link with me so that we can put it on the description and get this product out to everybody. Anything else you want to add?
No, but I do just want to say, like, you know, that's what I just went over is the physical aspect of devotion. But again, I can't stress enough how it's a two-part product. It's physical and mental. Like, I really want I'd rather people go through the devotion experience and really have the understanding of more of what the product is. And that I have that in there also. But developing their own foundational, things that open up their capacity to surrender throughout the day. You know, we support you with that. We give over $3,000 in just different coaching tools that we use, anywhere from nutrition programs to workout programs to our devotion journal, which is super important, book lists, and then again that daily audio, which is less than 4 minutes. What we're asking people for is listen to the audio every day. It's less than 5 minutes. I create a new audio for each day that you're going through the experience. Go through your devotional journal. Bring light of your awareness to some of these unconscious beliefs so we can let those things go. And 3 5-minute meditations and 8 to 10,000 steps a day. That's it for 30 days. And you will have the foundation. You have the foundation to be present under pressure. And why do we need the presence? To make the only decision we can make. Will I be a hostage to my ego, or will I be a host to God? Because guess what? Like you said, when my daughter was she was correcting me. And when she was saying these things, I'm like, yo, do you understand? Like, I'm only working more for the family. We in a launch, but it's like, that's right. But am I happy? Because if she's not happy, am I happy? And if she's not happy, it doesn't matter if I'm right. And what is fighting to keep this position of rightness? That's my ego, right?
That's not it.
And so it's like, we don't want to bulldoze. I don't want to get to the end of this thing and we have a successful, again, success. It wouldn't be success if millions of people use this. It would be success if millions of people had an experience, but it wouldn't be success if I wasn't having the experience trying to give people an experience that I'm not even experiencing because I'm out of my mind trying to do what? It's just lost. You know what I mean? So, man, I appreciate the platform to share, though, and it's always really good to have a conversation with a fellow parent of many. You have more kids than me, man. I salute you every day of the year.
Always good to connect with you, man. I know it was like like 2 years the last time we connected, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you know,
The setup is beautiful.
say it again. Oh, the setup is beautiful. Yeah, the setup before was my background in the office. Now we actually at the studio, so a little bit different.
Growth.
Yeah. And I just something that you were saying, man, about the fact that it's not just about the supplement. It's also about the mindset, the mentality, what you're going through. And you also touched earlier on the episode about you eat something and you don't even realize why you feel fear or anxiety or whatever, and it's because you consumed something that was just in fear, that was literally feeling. I had this realization for myself. I was out, I was eating, I took my team out to lunch, and I'm sitting there and I felt like enclosed. I felt like this enclosed, like I felt like I'm being mushed together. And I'm like, what is this? So I took a minute, I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and then I saw the vision of the chicken pressed in a cage, like in chaos. And I'm like, literally, I took the plate, was like, I am not eating any more of that. And it's exactly that. What you consume, you will feel that. Everything is energy. That energy will transfer. And so like, I think like having this combination of having the supplement, I think is good to give people that foundation, clean that gut, get the gut right. When your gut is right, your emotions are right, your mind is clear. And now doing these practices on top of that, like the setup for success is amazing. And the fact that you putting those two together and actually like, listen, Sam, the product is great, but it's not just the product. It's this part too. Like that is like a beautiful thing. That right there is the formula for transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you see it though. We see it the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's what we want, man. Like that. Like what's more important than that? Like think about it. When we able to get together, it can be like we have not talked in like 2 years, and we can get together right there and actually make a podcast. And it's our first time talking in that time, and it's like just pick right back up. Like it's an elevated conversation. What if it was like I've seen that though? Like I've had an experience of like it being like that where your neighbor, like everybody go through the grocery store. If we were just here, we could all connect with each other. It's no reason for all the wars and different things going on in the world. We just like sleepwalking. It's not even making sense. So once we get a certain level of self-mastery where we can surrender our mind to spirit and we can have these conversations with a complete stranger. We haven't even met. You know what I mean? Like we can have these conversations with anybody. I mean, just think about that. You might be you might be in a different country and just catch an Uber with somebody or something and just have this high level conversation. Like that's what else could be better in life, man? It's like that is success. That is fulfillment. And it's possible. And it's possible. That's it. It really is possible with a few minor shifts in perspective throughout your day. You can be present enough to really experience things on a whole nother level.
Dang, so good, brother. Hey, I want to tell you I love you so much, man. Everything that you shared today resonated with me. So when I tell you I felt chills in this podcast at least 12 times. Like this is really good, man, and I appreciate you jumping on. And quickly, I hit you up, and you're like, "Yo, let's do it next week." Literally, with less than a week, let's do it. On top of the fact that you have this busy schedule, you got the kids and all that stuff. I really appreciate you coming on, man. And I have a feeling this is not going to be the last time that you're on here, man, because this was really good, man. And I know we've been on. How long we been on, B?
Hour 45.
An hour and 45 minutes, bro.
It always fly. I mean, I swear.
It's crazy.
That's why I think, I'm like, yeah, for sure. Let's kick it.
Yeah, it is being in presence, being in that presence. And we're here, we're present. We're not like all over the place and worried about this and we're present. And how can you do that? Because you have the exercise, the practices. You have a healthy body, a healthy mind, and you surrender yourself to spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. Like I said, this is not going to be the last one. I have ideas as we're talking. I'm like, yo, we could talk about this. We could talk about this. We could talk about that.
Let's do it, man. I'm with it, brother. It's always a pleasure, man. I appreciate you. I love everything that you got going on, man. If there's any way I can support you, let me know. I just followed your YouTube page, and I'm so. We didn't even get to talk about that.
No? We didn't
Yeah,
talk.
we didn't even get.
Yo, listen, I hit you up. We didn't get to talk about nothing. I was like, oh, you want to jump on a call before? He's like, nah, let's leave it organic. I'm like, I love it. Like, because I'm the same way. Let's leave it organic. Yeah. There's no need for us to try to taint it, to try to talk about it. Nah, we get together, two men that operate in spirit, there's always going to work out. There's no need for us to even do that. So, yes.
Yeah.
And it's a confirmation. Because I feel the vibe right here, and this podcast is going to be a good one. People are definitely going to enjoy this.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Likewise. So, B, I want to go tell the audience, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on here and watching this episode. And like I always tell you, I am you, you are me, and we are one. And until next time, sending you much love.